Well, considering this glorious year is about to wrap up, I suggest we can speak about the top 5 moments before the world ends.
Yes.
So,
Tell me one and I'll tell you the other.
okay, I shall. So, the first one I have picked from my list would be Balenciaga Simpsons video. I thought it was brilliant, really hilarious and entertaining. I got completely absorbed while I was watching it. The contemporary immersive experience, as all trend reports would say you. But what it also highlighted for me, what we don't buy products, we buy messages, stories, and escapism.
Yeah. Can I have the? I want also to give you one which is connected to yours. I would have, if you didn't, I would have picked the same that you picked because it's a glorious moment and very enjoyable and well made. I picked the couture show by Balenciaga because I think it's remarkable that the house is going back to couture and is doing it so well without redoing the old Balenciaga. It's the new Balenciaga, but it's completely philosophically aligned with the old. So yeah, I definitely picked that. And what's your next?
I would say looks-Lil campaign for Alexander Wang. I think first of all, I really like looks-Lil. Since I found out about her, I always found her very charming. But I think this campaign and also her appearance in Sex and the City, remember? Oh my God, so good. Brilliant moment. But in this campaign, she basically portrays this very powerful, successful female wearing Alexander Wang designs in these luxurious settings, great houses, driving fancy cars. And I just thought, again, it's quite ironic how the brand is capturing very specific segment of a market, which is, again, Asian market. And it projects this narrative of a successful, empowered woman. And after watching this TV series again, it only builds the link for me to understand what this is something which consumers would buy really well as an idea there.
Yeah, I also love looks-Lil. Probably much more than I love Alexander Wang, but who is also a successful woman. But my second would be the Met Gala looks, especially two highlights. Lil Nas 3 looks by Dior. Lil Nas didn't stop amazing us with his looks. I think he's got a brilliant strategy for fame. And the 3 looks he went at the Met Gala with were so representative of Versace, but also so representative of what he does with looks and with music and with his appearance. So I think that was definitely a moment to remember. And the other one, I could have picked many things, but I tried to avoid things that we have discussed before, except the Balenciaga collection. And the other one was Kim Kardashian Balenciaga look. Because Kim Kardashian is probably, it's the woman who, I'm simplifying a lot because the trends are usually something very complicated, the way in which trends come about. But I will simplify and I would say that she is the woman who single-handedly changed the body shape that was considered cool for women in recent times, proposing this extremely tiny waist and extremely huge butt. And after having been so visual, she renounces to visual displays and hides herself behind a black catsuit. And I think this was great from Kim Kardashian. So those 2 looks are my second highlight. What's your third?
My third would be a bit of a diversion from fashion, but there was a Charlotte Perriand exhibition at Design Museum, which went on this summer. So she is a modernist furniture and interior designer. And for me, that really was a great exhibition because you could try all the furniture. It was very like touch friendly, which is very nice experience for an art gallery. I think different from most of the time, like don't touch, don't look, don't breathe. But also simultaneously, it made me realize how much modernist aesthetic is present in our everyday life experience, from fashion to lifestyle products to interior design. It's quite incredible, which probably even a lot of trends and like we were speaking about Bottega Veneta bags when back like 15 years ago, if you had one, no one would knew because it was some sort of
discreet luxury.
Yeah, discreet luxury aesthetic. And I think it's incredibly fascinating how we haven't really evolved to uncover better aesthetic taste than what modernists have created in the beginning of 20th century.
100% agree. Yeah, I'm also amazed about that. But that is because postmodernity is not about going past modernity. That's why every definition of postmodernity links always back to modernity. Postmodernity, liquid modernity, hyper-modernity, everything includes the word modernity. So we will not, until this era ends, we will not propose a new formula. But I completely agree. My third moment is Prada's. I sense something is changing at Prada, and I started thinking this when they hired Raf Simons and the Shanghai show with Raf Simons and Miuccia. I think they manage my opinion is that they cannot suffer each other. Really? Like yes, because she is a woman with a very specific vision, and sadly nobody in the world can do Miuccia except Miuccia. So La Signora. And I feel like they don't really like each other, even in the interviews. When they are together, you can perceive, but they are successful together. And also he copies a lot of what he does for Prada in his own collections, which is not a good move. And I don't think she's particularly going to be pleased about it. She's not pleased about that. But that was a beautiful moment because it was a great strategy to multiply, to splinter the runway show and to bring it to the other side of the world, which is the reason why they are recovering well from the crisis of pandemic, because they expanded well in China. That was very savvy to create two shows, one in Milan, one in Shanghai at the same time. Great marketing. And I think it's this, I'm fascinated by the way in which they, albeit hating each other, they pretend like two old Milanese rich ladies to pretend to love each other nevertheless. So all hail Miuccia. Yeah.
My next one would be Tiffany campaign with Beyoncé, Jay-Z and basket painting. I thought the campaign was really ugly. The way they dressed and styled them, like this dress, which we probably needed to oil Beyonce up to squeeze into. Jay-Z trying to reinterpret basket hair, which looked really dodgy. And then I guess we had to go into a lot of effort to find this painting, which replicates the Tiffany turquoise color. And I think it's just ridiculous to try to associate with Basquiat being who he is, had any sort of a connection with Tiffany, and the whole like brand trying to elevate itself in such a backwards way. I thought it was ironic, and maybe because it was so cringy, maybe that's why it really stuck in my mind.
In
so bad,
mind.
it feels good.
Exactly, so bad it feels good, which is what we prefer anyway.
Yeah,
it's our favorite.
This is, culture gone bad, really bad.
Exactly. Speaking about things gone really, really bad, Harry and Meghan. I mean, everything about them is bad in my eyes. Like, I truly think they are a curse to the royal family and to everything. Like, they managed so brilliantly to take an institution, remove the institution, and and make everything about themselves as individuals. And their going to opera was disgraceful and funny because of all places, to opera I mean, you are a royal. You did not... Because the funny thing is that going there and talking about how mean the royal family is, but keeping your title, being still the Duchess and the Duke. And it was very funny to me to see how many contradictions. And also she said something very, very, very bad. She said something, the royal family said something so bad about her, some racist comments, which if what she said is true, is extremely bad. So why don't you make the names? Why don't you tell us who this person is? Because I want to know. I'm paying my taxes to keep the royal family. I want to know if I'm paying my taxes to some racist. So have the courage. If you raise such a problem, have the courage to go sort of to be a real hero, not to keep the ambiguity. I think that was a cluster of contradictions, which was so bad that I found even amusing.
Wow.
If there was no institution in the middle, which I truly respect, the institutions of this country, which is a country that I truly love. I live here, so so it was pretty fascinating for me.
Well, I'm gonna jump into my last one, and my last one would be Mentero video by Lil Nas.
Oh, Mentero, yeah.
Mentero, yeah. I thought it was, again, pure entertainment, but I also thought this whole like heaven and hell narrative, an absence of fixed space, it all seems to be incredibly digitalized, and the idea of heaven and hell being digitalized felt incredibly contemporary, and I think telling of the past few years, how everything became incredibly dependent on technology and digital experience, and therefore, like in the best way of Baudrillard in hyper-reality, simulacra and simulation, we can no longer tell the truth between reality and digital experience. And also, at some point, I also think heaven and hell can be interpreted as being experienced in real world.
Yeah, I think the Lil Nas used heaven and hell, and he removed any theological, once again, postmodern creations. But I must say that I do think, I also quoted in one of my points Lil Nas, because I do think that young guy didn't do a single thing that was not amazing this year in terms of creating visuals. All the songs, I mean, I'm not a music expert, so I will try not to comment on it, but I personally really enjoy listening to them. And the videos are so visually powerful. I think it's since Lady Gaga that we did, I'm talking about the 2010, 2011 Lady Gaga, like the paparazzi videos and the Alejandro videos of Lady Gaga. It was since that time that we didn't see such a powerful imagery, such a powerful creation of images. So I think Lil Nas is really extremely talented when it comes to this.
Very entertaining. Oh my God, speaking of Lady Gaga, I really love Bad Romance. This is where she's wearing that Alexander McQueen Aquatics collection, the last one, which is gorgeous.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, well...
And I have a fifth one.
You have a fifth one?
Yes, the fifth one is Squid Games. I mean, how not to mention Squid Games? I recently watched it. I resisted as much as I could, but I had to finish it before 2021, and I must say I really enjoyed it, because it really brings the best of Korean cinema. I love Korean cinema. Like Kim Ki-duk, Park Chan-wook, I really love South Korean cinema. And they bring the one aspect that makes Korean cinema great into television, into Netflix, which is this idea of poetic violence. There is always the Korean movies are always infused with poetry and violence, and they bring it to TV. Obviously, it's not the same as the movies I was quoting, which are true masterpieces, like Kim Ki-duk especially. But they created something extremely enjoyable and very different from what a Western director could have conceived. So there is freedom in difference. Okay, the fact that they are not European gives them a different outlook upon certain issues that would be impossible from in the West in general, not just in Europe. So I'm really happy that Netflix is giving so many opportunities to people around the world, because it really brings novelty, and they also created very, very powerful images. It was not a masterpiece, but it was extremely well made as entertainment. So I really enjoyed it.
Well, I think this makes our life exciting and culture exciting. Different nationalities and different people and different continents bringing their creations forward. So, Drupi, this is probably our last episode for this year. We've done a reflection on this year. Do you have any forecast for 2022?
It's very difficult to make forecasts, because as somebody who studies trends and trends forecasting, I know that it's very difficult to make forecasts in an unpredictable, in an unstable situation. And unfortunately, our situation is so unstable that it is very risky to make predictions and to bet your money on a prediction, given the fact that we don't know how long these variants will last. So my only prediction is that everything we have been seeing in fashion and out of fashion will just intensify. That's my prediction, because that's what happened since the beginning of this pandemic. Everything that was already cooking underground has exploded. So things did not really change, it just became more intense.
Well, then probably it's a good advice to invest into Hermes bags.
Yes, not Bitcoins, but Hermes bags.
Yeah, this is our currency. I just wish next year brings us more scandalous stories, grotesque characters, and fashion hypocrisies, because it will keep us going.
Exactly. But I think we will be content. We will not be disappointed.
I think there is no way to be disappointed, because I have zero expectations for anything.
Very good.
Well,
with this,
with this, culture gone bad says goodbye to 2021.
And Happy New Year.